really good. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Are you able to see this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So African Heritage Initiative, we're going to talk about the current initiative, which is reclaiming our African roots. So Family Search International has worked on several African heritage initiatives. One such initiative is the Freedmen's Bank Project. This took place in 1989, between 1989 and 2001. Utah State Penitentiary prisoners indexed 480,597 records. The names for these records are freely searchable in FamilySearch.org. Freedmen's Bank, better known as the Freedmen's Savings Bank, was a corporation established by the U.S. Congress. The bank was officially established March 3rd, 1865, to house monies of the newly emancipated slaves. President Lincoln even signed the bank's official opening into law. At its height, the bank housed up to $57 million across several states, including Washington, D.C. Abolitionist Frederick Douglass used $10,000 of his own money to keep the bank in operation. The bank itself was a dismal failure. Mismanagement, funds were stolen basically from the newly emancipated slaves, and so the bank closed and they lost all of their money. But due to its impeccable record keeping, the bank exists as the largest source of family-linked documents. So when the newly freed slaves opened up bank accounts, they had to fill out an application which asked for their name, their spouse's name, their children's names, the name of their last slave owner, the name of the last plantation that they were on. So all of this information was captured in these documents, and these applications were sitting in the National Archives since 1872. Family Search acquired copies of them, and between 1989 and 2001, the records were indexed, which I will explain in a moment, and all of these names are freely searchable in FamilySearch.org. In 2007, Family Search worked with Virginia to index Freedmen's Bureau records that were specific to the state of Virginia. So they partnered with the Black History Museum and Cultural Center of Virginia, and they indexed almost 200,000 images of Freedmen's Bureau field office records and correspondence. In the process of doing that, they collected 834,464 names, which are freely accessible in FamilySearch.org. And the image here is just one, a copy of correspondence that was indexed. Between 2015 and 2016, we indexed the remaining of the Freedmen's Bureau records. There were over 25,000 volunteers nationwide who helped to index these records. We indexed over 1.7 million records from 1.5 million digital images. For this initiative, Family Search partnered with the Afro-American Historical and Genealogical Society, the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture, and the California African American Museum. So for these records, we indexed hospital records. So individuals who received hospital services, we captured their names and they're available in FamilySearch.org. School records, and I got to tell you, I was a poor indexer because I would get in these school records and I would see all of these students' names, and I just got really excited about how many people, newly freed slaves, were actually going to school at the time. So we have those names. Those who received rations, we have those records as well, with their names, the rations that they received and the quantity. There were grievances that were filed against individuals. So many of the African Americans would apprentice their children out to learn different trades or skills, and they were not being paid for their services. some of them ended up just missing in action altogether. Um, One individual actually wrote to the President of the United States at the time. Her brother was apprenticed out, and she couldn't find him, didn't know where he was. And so he ended up being part of a convict leasing system. They used children as well as adults to continue the work that took place in slavery. And with the 13th Amendment, slavery was abolished except for if an individual was duly convicted of a crime. Um, and so you have the Jim Crow laws, or the black codes that were created to criminalize African Americans. For instance, if you cannot prove that you were gainfully employed, um, that's a charge of vagrancy, and you could be arrested and thrown into prison. The prison systems could lease your labor out to individuals or corporations. And so that's part of the convict leasing system. So some children actually ended up missing. And so you have grievances from the newly freed, for the emancipated slaves in these records as well. And then we have correspondence. And in those records, it's not just records and names of African Americans, but our white citizens were included in those records as well. The economy was decimated by the Civil War. Many women lost their husbands, fathers, brothers in the war. Um, their crops were dying, and so many of them received rations as well. And so we have their names in these records in addition to the African American names. The International African American Museum is currently being built in Charleston, South Carolina on Gadsden's Wharf. This was the first destination for 40% of all enslaved Africans who came to the US. So Gadsden's Wharf is also known as ground zero for slavery in America. So the center will include a family history center. Stories of African Americans will be told there as well, which I find really interesting. They just appointed a director for the center, and she is absolutely amazing. So you can do a quick search on the International African American Museum in South Carolina to get more information about this museum. Our current initiative is reclaiming our African roots. So our vision is to help those of African descent more easily discover their ancestors and connect with their homeland. Our mission is to incorporate an additional 500 million genealogical records of the African diaspora into one central location, which is Family Search. And in this image here, you have a grandmother who's sharing stories with her daughter and grandchildren. The year 2019 marked the 400th anniversary of the landing of the first documented Africans in English North America. In recognition of this event, Family Search partnered with African American genealogical community and launched this initiative. Our goal is to assist Family Search collect records from the African diaspora in the US by forming relationships, that's number one, collaborating with organizations in the Black community who are already working on genealogical initiatives who may need our help, and supporting them in their genealogical efforts. So our objective, is to identify opportunities across the Houston metro region. And for this, we need help in the community. And I'll let you know in just a moment what kind of the types of organizations that and individuals we're looking to collaborate with. So here in North America's Southwest area, this is just a map in the Southwest region of the US of who's working on this initiative. And for Arizona, I just put Phoenix, but it's all of Arizona, it's all of Nevada, it's all of New Mexico, it's all of Oklahoma. In Texas, I kind of listed out just because I'm partial to Texas, I guess. But there are several initiatives taking place in these areas. So here in the Houston area, we're currently working on cemetery preservations. So we have groups of individuals who, by invitation, will go to African American cemeteries and help clean and beautify them. We've cleaned headstones and captured information from the headstones and uploaded them to Find a Grave and or a Billion Graves. Indexing. I've talked about indexing before. This is a short video to explain to you what indexing is. Are you able to hear?
No.
No.
Okay, just a moment.
The major events of your ancestors' lives have likely been recorded and preserved on paper for hundreds of years. These records are probably hidden away in government archives or church basements. Family Search has been working since 1894 to preserve these historic records against damage or loss so that people like you can discover the story of their family's history. To do this, Family Search stores a photographed copy of these records in a safe place where the effects of time no longer damage records. Billions of records are currently stored on microfilm, and now Family Search is collecting and storing images in digital form. Millions of these records are also now published online for everyone to freely access. Pictures are nice, but to really be helpful, the information in these images needs to be searchable by computer. This is accomplished through a process called indexing, and it's something computers can't do. Thankfully, hundreds of thousands of volunteers, young and old, are already coming to the rescue. In just minutes at a time, they read the digital images and type the information they see. Family Search then saves the information in a freely searchable online database called FamilySearch.org. Now millions of people can easily find their ancestors thanks to the efforts of people just like you. That's great, but guess what? The digital images are stacking up faster than the current indexers can handle. More helpers are needed now. With your help and the help of your family and friends, the monumental task of making the world's historic records searchable online will be accomplished. Will you help make a difference? Well, you can by becoming an online volunteer indexer today.
Indexing is ever so important. Some of the most devastating stories that I've heard during Katrina, and several individuals were displaced, and they lost many records. They lost social security cards. They lost birth certificates. They lost family Bibles. And so it's great to have all of that information, but when a natural disaster occurs and that information is lost, it's really difficult to recover that information, if we're able to recover it at all. With indexing, you're able to extract information like names, dates, places, and put them into Family Search. So if a natural disaster does happen, you still have access to all of that information. And it's important for me to mention that information for the living in Family Search is confidential. No one will be able to see your information. Only the information of those who are deceased is visible to the public.
Can I share something real quick, Helen?
Sure.
So we have a service project that Just Serve is sponsoring on Saturday, and it is indexing. So all of you who would like to get a little bit of experience or find out, discover for yourself what an indexing is, our spotlight volunteer that we are spotlighting tonight, Morgan Mortensen, who is 16 years old, is a very experienced indexer. So that indicates that you can do it at any age. It's something that you can do from your home computer, and you can do it any time of day or night. So it's a great opportunity to serve, to help others, and to really learn more about how to research your own family histories.
So Morgan will be presenting at 6 p.m.
She will be presenting Saturday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then tonight she'll be spotlighted at our volunteer spotlight at 6 p.m. So we hope you all can join both of those. Thank you.
Oh, great. Thanks for that information. Something else you can do is to record personal and family histories. And in the age of COVID, it's kind of difficult to get with our elders to record their histories, but it's ever so important to record those histories. So these histories can actually be recorded via Zoom, and the youth can actually do the interviews here. There's much that our youth can learn from our elders, and there's a lot that our elders can learn from our youth. When you are prompted to interview your elders, I would highly, highly recommend that you act on those promptings. For example, in this past December, I was thinking of what would be a really great gift to give my adult sons for Christmas. And it dawned on me that I should give them words of wisdom from their elders. So their grandparents are in Oakland, California. I wasn't going to go to Oakland. So I contacted mom and said, hey, this is what I want to do for your grandchildren. Is it okay? So I got her permission, designated day and time. We logged into Zoom. So mom was there, dad was there, and Uncle Chico surprised us and showed up as well. And I just asked them a few questions, and they gave their words of wisdom to their grandchildren. 2.5 weeks after that interview, dad unexpectedly died. And mom has been thanking me ever since for acting on those promptings to record, to get dad on video and to record his words of wisdom. So when you're prompted to do so, please do so. Our elders aren't going to be around forever. You can capture stories via digital storytelling, and we have partnerships with Houston Community College. I say with the college, but there are individual professors who have agreed to teach digital storytelling if that's something that you want to do. LegaSync is an app that you can download, and they give you like daily prompts, or you can just come up with your own prompts. You just push the record button and you speak into LegaSync, and you have recorded a journal entry. FamilySearch.org as well. When you upload memories into FamilySearch.org, you can click on the memory, click the recording button, and then explain what that memory is. And so there are several different ways that we can capture personal and family histories. Family trees. You can help build family trees. Right now, we are working with the community at Evergreen Negro Cemetery and College Memorial Park Cemetery to help build family trees for the individuals who are interred there. So we're building family trees forward and backwards. At Evergreen, there are 46,000 that we need to build. So we need a lot of help there. You can start building your own family tree. You can log into FamilySearch.org. There's no subscription fee. It's free to use, and start building your own family tree. You can help locate plantations and cemeteries. I actually live on a plantation, a former plantation, Palmer Plantation. Where plantations are located, 9 times out of 10, there are burial grounds on those plantations as well. And many of them have been lost because we've lost locations of many of these plantations. So not only here in the United States is this project taking place, but also in the continent of Africa. In Sierra Leone, they are preserving records. So Family Search has sent over digitization equipment, and they've trained the community on how to digitize records. Let me show you what's taking place in Sierra Leone.
We are here in Sierra Leone at the birth and death departments as we are helping to preserve the records that they are keeping.
The record books, as you are seeing, they are just like a paper, all destroyed because of the frequent handling. The records are not under air condition.
There is every possibility for someone's information to get missing or get destroyed over the year. And so as a result of that, we have been making frantic effort to ensure that these informations are recorded in the digital fashion.
When I saw these records for the first time, it was devastating. You know, I had my heart broken. If we do not do this now, in 10 years' time, we'll not probably find all of this information available.
If these records are lost, the memory of our ancestors will be lost forever.
I will start by thanking God for giving us the idea and the knowledge to approach family research.
The chief of the State House of the government of Sierra Leone sent an official correspondence to the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, President Thomas S. Monson, asking if the church organization in charge of record preservation can come in the country to help the country to preserve all the sensitive records that they are keeping. So this is how we're doing it. We're helping to preserve the records by providing the necessary tools and the technology and the experience. We have more than 4 million records that we have to preserve, between 40 to 50,000 images per week. And then the project will last for at least 3 years. And then after this process of indexing, the records will be available online. So people, individual and families may have access to these information. Here we are in Tombo, in the Western Rural District in Sierra Leone. Behind me, you may notice the health center. You see mothers registering their new babies. And this is one of the birth and death registration office that we have in the country, where some of the records are coming from for digitalization and preservation purpose. As well as preserving the government's records, we also help to preserve the Catholic Church records in the Archdiocese of Freetown.
If anyone allows these records to fall apart, to dissipate, it would be a colossal, dastardly negative effect on the history and the integrity of our nation. The work that Family Search is doing is phenomenal. Any kind of record at all is crucially important because it becomes a database for future generations.
I'm here with.
So in the interest of time, I'm going to stop it here. There's like another minute and a half left there. But this is an example of some of the work that's going on in Sierra Leone.
My family.
In addition to that, we are collecting oral histories from the griots. As you may or may not know, a griot is a West African repository of oral tradition. Typically, a griot is assigned to record orally to keep the histories of the tribes, and that responsibility is passed on from father to son. As of February 2020, we were in 15 countries, more than 5,000 interviewers, conducted more than 225,000 interviews, and have gathered thus far 57 million names to be added into Family Search. These are some of the Family Search partners that we've had over the years as we worked on several initiatives. Right now, we only have like consultants who are advising us on the Reclaiming Our African Roots initiative. But these are our previous partners, Family Search partners, who have worked with us on previous initiatives. We are looking to collaborate with other organizations and institutions on this initiative. We need to identify, research, and document material from the African diaspora. Not only is this work taking place here in the United States and on the continent of Africa, but this year we will begin in Brazil and the Caribbean collecting records as well. So community members, we're looking forward to help with this, historical societies, HBCUs, museums. It takes a collaborative effort to gather all of these records. So the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was mentioned in the former video, and that is because Family Search International is the genealogical arm of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And they are making a concerted effort to help establish a bridge back to Africa so individuals can reclaim their African roots. If you'd like to help with this initiative, or if you need help with your genealogical initiatives, visit us on our Facebook page or contact us at HoustonMetroRoar@gmail.com. And we understand that not everyone can do everything, but everyone can do something. So please join us on this journey. Thanks so much for your time and attention.
Helen, thank you so much for your presentation. We really appreciate all the information that you've shared with us today and this opportunity to offer service to the African American communities. Do we have any questions for Helen? You're welcome to unmute yourselves and ask a question if you do. If not, you're welcome to send her an email. If you go to her presentation, her contact information is there. And I know she'd be happy to have a conversation with you. And Olivia, make sure you contact her so she can help you with your family history. I'm sure she can help you get past that spot where you're stuck. So in closing, want to thank Helen again. Really appreciate your time today and sharing this. And there is those of you who are participating with the Houston Together event, there's a game going on and you can earn points, and we've got great prizes. We've got tickets to Astros games. We've got gift certificates to Texas Roadhouse. We've got tool chests, tool kits, all kinds of fun prizes. And so for attending this session, if you enter the point code in the Houston Together app or on your desktop, then you'll receive, I believe it's 150 or 175 points for attending today. So your point code for today is 99562, and I will put that in the chat, 99562. So if you will write that down and add that to your points, that'll help you. We are also doing a scavenger hunt that's ongoing, and it will conclude tomorrow morning. Tonight, please join us at 6 o'clock. We will be highlighting volunteers that are being spotlighted by the different organizations that are involved in this event. Just Serve, as I indicated, will be spotlighting tonight a 16-year-old genealogist. And Morgan Mortensen also will be doing a service project on Saturday. So please join us. And we thank you again for attending and hope you've enjoyed it, and hope you'll continue to enjoy our Houston Together event in creating your own stories and sharing in the stories with others. Thank you so much. Take care. Thank you. Thank you, Helen.